G'day, Big V fans. We are talking Div 1 men today, offensive and defensive. Points for and a guess. We're going to go through some key anomalies here for myself and Mark sitting to my right. We're not going to be able to go through all of them, so we'll keep it short and sharp. We'll go through some that are a little bit surprising. Now, I'm going to kick it off because we've highlighted one here, and it is Shepparton sitting second on the ladder, but their offensive rating is ranked 7th out of the 11.
Yeah, we found that very interesting as we first discovered it and did the math, and then you start to break it down a little bit, Ted, and you look at their roster. They're built pretty big. They've got Andronicus, they got Kigo, they got Dodd, they got Bex. Not necessarily going to get out and run. Not playing a fast brand, so probably getting a few less possessions per game.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you work that in with a few shooting woes here and there, you can understand why they're not shining offensively just yet. But 7th in the league still surprised me.
It is a little bit. And we got Pakenham, who are sitting just behind them in third, with first place averaging 95.9 points per game. That's pretty bloody impressive.
Yeah, that's a huge amount. And Rob Roberts and the boys down there, they play pretty fast. They get the ball through their main shooters in Joe Davis and Josh Dow.
Yeah.
They do the majority of the work, and then they seem to have bits and pieces just bob up and get buckets as required. I think Nick Wiedemann had a pretty big game recently. They've got a number of pieces they can just utilise on the offensive end.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, with Davis and Dow being those top two scorers, they're guys who can sort of play everywhere on the court. They can play inside, they're physical, they're big boys, they can play out of the post, but they can also stretch the floor. So that could have something to do with this, making it just a little bit harder to guard. Do you close them out long or do you close them out short? It's going to be different. They might be able to shoot really well. Sometimes they're going to play a different style. That's hard to guard consistently.
Certainly a scouting nightmare, and all these other Div 1 teams have their work cut out.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we'll move to 7th and 8th on the ladder because these two are very interesting. We've got Coburg, who is sitting 7th, who have the worst points per game average, and then Chelsea sitting just behind them with 4th.
Yeah, Coburg's an interesting one. They're quite easily the worst offensive team.
Yeah.
However, they managed to get some wins together. So 71.8 points per game. The next worst is 77 with Southern Pinchler in 11th.
Yeah.
I think the addition of, it's Romanik Zaire, who's just been added to their team, gives them a bit of firepower. 16 points per game so far in his first 5 games. So hopefully that keeps their offensive end rolling.
Absolutely, yeah. And then Chelsea sitting in 4th, a team that probably, has been a little bit unlucky in some games. They could possibly be a little bit higher on that ladder, but sitting 4th with an offensive rating is quite interesting. Of someone that shooting that well and getting on a ring, just unable to get some wins.
Yeah, with Davey, Frost, and Bottrell, you'd expect their offense to be pretty good. But as we look on over to the other side of the scale here, the defensive end, that might be where they've got serious problems, giving up 99 points a game.
Makes a little bit more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, 10th in the league, giving up 99 points a game is exactly the reason as to why they're not getting those wins.
Absolutely, yeah. And, Davey averaging almost 3 turnovers per game in his 11 games. It's probably not easy when, you're trying to score and then turnover ball goes down the other end and it's an easy layup. So,
yeah, he'll want to reduce that in the back end of the year for sure.
Absolutely. Now we'll go back to Shepparton. So we said they were 7th in the league with points 4, but they're sitting 1st defensively.
And that is exactly why they're second place in the ladder. They've got a lot of length, they've got a lot of size, they don't give teams second chances at it. So, limiting some of these Division 1 men's teams to 67 points a game is ridiculous numbers.
That is quite solid, considering the amount of talent here and the imports in this division as well.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Quite substantial.
And it's actually 7 points better than the next best in Warrnambool, who are at 74.7 points per game. So clearly the best defensive team. It's not a small margin.
No, now Warrandart's sitting 3rd with their defensive rating with 75.4 points per game. So they're doing a pretty good job, but averaging 77 points on their offensive end. They're sort of trading buckets a little bit at the moment, where they need to, score the ball a little bit more efficiently, or can they continue to hold out this good defensive effort?
Yeah, I think the once again they're sort of that sort of team which plays a slow brand, so naturally there's less possessions per game. So I think they do a good job. They got several veterans. I know Mitch Hawley's a great defender on the wings, and then you got the Moore brothers who sit inside the paint. So
Yep.
they're able to get it done, and they slow the ball down and crowd the space. So
Absolutely. And where do they keep a lot of these teams? One shot possessions. Like they got a number of guys who rebound the ball pretty well. Obviously, Brian Moore, apologies, with average almost 14 rebounds per game, with other guys chipping in, hovering around that 5 to 6 rebounds. They're probably keeping teams to one shot every possession.
yeah, exactly. They easiest way to play defense, just not let them get more opportunities. So
Absolutely. Look, we'll touch on last place really quick with Chelsea, averaging 98.9 points per game defensively, something they really need to work on.
yeah, watching one of their games, they're apart from Big Frost in the middle, they're pretty short. So they've got to try and find some solutions across those wings to defend those bigger guys, and maybe that is a zone of some sort, Ted.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, that'll be all for us, guys. Keep it locked in Big V. We'll see you soon.